Contouring. Badly.
Contouring.
Got a nice squeaky chair there, Naomi.
Yes,
love that for the audio. Love that.
Yeah.
I've also got snacks.
I love that for the audio as well. Man, this is going to be an auditory experience.
Hey, I rang Naomi yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Day before. And guess what she was doing in the library when I rang her on the off chance?
Eating some crisps.
Loudly.
Audibly loudly.
I'm just really into crisps.
I'm just really into making loads of noise to irritate
I just
people.
wanna piss people off. Oh, God, I'm so sweaty today. God.
It is hot. It's got really hot again, hasn't it, today?
It's muggy and it is pissing
It's
me off.
mugging.
Mugging me. It's pissing me off.
It's
mugging me right off.
It is mugging me off. I was like, finally, some fucking reprieve. I can actually breathe in my sauna attic room. No. And I was like, oh, just hold on while I do my makeup. But you just started the recording.
No. Never.
Oh, look. And now I've done it wrong.
Gory waits for no one.
Go do that voice again. It's funny.
What voice? Oh, wait.
No, I will not wait for you to put your face on. Everyone's going to see your real face.
But people will know. That voice is so funny.
It's so great.
And I should cut in like when I actually surprised you with it the last episode because that was
you should. That was great.
Funny, but
that was very funny.
You even like.
Yourself, Gary.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, you need to speak up for yourself.
Can you hear me now? Am I loud now?
You sound like Naomi now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell you apart.
Okay.
So what we said. What were you saying, Gory?
I say we need to introduce the podcast.
Okay.
That's so funny. I love it.
Please keep that voice. I like it.
Yeah. I think I'd like you more if you had that voice.
Okay. I can't even do it.
Right. Welcome to episode 6 of the Roast to Girls podcast.
We've tried to record this goddamn episode so many times at
God.
this point. Oh my God. Trying to
God.
sort out tech with you two, honestly, it's like
You too.
a pair of nonagenarians.
No. Don't group me in with that gremlin. I was ready.
Look, you furious bastard. I've been waiting for you for 10 years. 3 hours.
Yeah. Pal, I've been waiting for you too.
I've been waiting for you to get your shit together for a decade.
I've been waiting for you for 10 years, mate.
3 hours and you're having a
bloody
hissy fit.
late.
I won't be doing it.
I'll see you at 12. Oh, it's 2 p.m. Where's Charlie? I'll see you at 6. Where's Charlie? We've all been waiting for you, Charlie.
Well, excuse me. If I didn't have to go out and buy, spend thousands of pounds on equipment and then have to go back and find a mouse that was in the box, but I couldn't see it.
Oh, was it actually there?
It was hidden in the packaging for the Mac, and she went out and bought a mouse when it was right there all along.
What a bloody idiot. Why am I so sweaty? Good God. Good God, everybody.
So,
Maybe it's because I've been working out.
have you been working out?
Yeah, I went to the gym today.
Eating crisps in the library doesn't count, Naomi.
No, I'll tell you what I'm eating right now. It's a bowl full of Mediterranean veg.
What's going on?
With some olive bread. And then some olive with I'm vinegar.
Okay.
Delicious.
So what are you
And I made
doing?
ceviche.
Are you trying to be good?
I am. I'm trying to lose weight that I've gained over the past couple of years during lockdown, and also from being at uni and just being sat, just like. and not moving very much. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of not fitting my fucking clothes.
Yeah.
I'm done. And also, like, it's just harder buying. It's harder buying clothes as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I've got
When
some
you're
lipstick in
slimmer,
my
it's
mouth.
so easy.
Yeah.
It's easier anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never been slim, but when I was slimmer and I could fit in, you know, I miss them days.
Yeah, man.
Now
I miss the ease.
Everything I put on, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I hate.
Oh.
I cannot be arsed with it. So
I'll be arsed with it.
I'm just trying to lose a little bit of weight. Guys, I actually wish we'd done this morning because, let me tell you, I was in a fantastic mood earlier.
Why?
Fantastic.
Why? What happened?
So I woke up, I'm lucid dreaming with a little sex dream.
Oh.
Best way to start the day.
You can lucid dream.
Where you like control what's happening in the dream. Yeah.
You can do that.
Turns out I can. But like not all the time now. But I was this morning. Dipping back into that sex dream. Anyway.
So I was naked, then what happened?
So, well, it was like it started off with just some passionate kissing, but it was like extraordinarily passionate. It was like, I don't know, like we kissed. I don't know who the person was, obviously.
I am renowned for that.
We kissed and it was just like, you know, fireworks, gorgeous. And then, you know, some fondling, then come out of it. And I was like, okay, I think I want to watch some people have sex. I think I want to watch porn. So then I went onto Pornhub and I'm scrolling through. And one of the things I comes to, have you ever watched blacked videos?
No.
I've heard of this website.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Not a great fan.
Blacked?
Yeah, it's like blacked. So it's like, you know, fetishizing black guys with like big dicks and it just wasn't like doing it for me. I mean, it's kind of horny, but it wasn't doing it for me because didn't feel real. It's just like, look at this big dick. Yeah, take it.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, sometimes you're in the mood for that. I wasn't in the mood for that. I wanted something like real passionate after my passionate kiss. So then I looked for one of my all-time faves, Owen Gray. Do you watch Owen Gray?
No.
Friends. Ladies. If you know, you know. If you don't know, get to know. Honestly, like, so he does threesomes with a guy called Small Hands, who you know Joanna Angel, don't
What
you?
shit are you into?
You know Joanna Angel?
I've heard of her.
Yeah, so she's anyway.
Did she go out with James Dean?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, Small Hands and Owen Gray do these threesomes.
Pre-rape.
Pre-rape.
Pre-rape, James Dean.
Right.
Oh, Gory, you don't know. Hang on, Gory doesn't know what we're talking about.
Okay, we'll go back. But let me just finish. Owen Gray and Small Hands having a threesome with this girl, and honestly, I might have to send you the link. Just so passionate, sexy. At one point, she's like, you two are fucking me so good. And one of them says to her, it's what you deserve. I'm sorry. What? Sliding off my chair. Just so fucking hot. So yeah, just had a really great start to the day.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. Yeah. I know. I've been working so hard.
Yeah. I do deserve that.
Speaking of hard.
It's great. But that's what you want, isn't it? Like porn where they're making sure the woman's having a great time, because so much of it's just like, take it, bitch. No, that's not what I want to see.
But then maybe sometimes women who are taking it are having a good time. Right,
sometimes, yeah. It's not what I always want to see, though.
I can't hear myself.
3 hours later.
We've spent that fucking long trying to sort out the fucking audio that it's gone dark outside. So I've put my little creeper light on that you love so much.
What else? Calm down, Naomi. Put your hard on away. Put your hard on away, you creep.
Well, I'll complete the look.
Please do. Is there anything?
Complete the look. There you go. There's my pedo glasses.
Oh, wow.
And then...
And here's my pedo voice.
Are you happy now?
Very.
Gary Owen. Oh, I just shouldn't have said that. You know, you were talking about your little porn thing. Gary Owen is not the name I would pick if I was a porn star.
Owen Gray.
What were you thinking of?
Gary
Owen.
Football commentator.
Is there a football commentator called Gary Owen? Because that does sound like the name of a football commentator, which is why probably I was confused. I was thinking, I don't know if I could masturbate to somebody called Gary Owen.
You'll wank to Owen Gray.
Gary, got it. Oh, got it. That's it. Got it. Go on, neck on.
You'll wank to Owen Gray. Honestly, it's some of the best porn I've seen. It's just so good at sex. He just really loves pleasing a woman. It's fucking fantastic. But it's like, it's exactly how I'd want to be fucked. It's like wanting to make sure I'm having a good time, but then also like choking, slapping, and like eye contact. It's just fucking perfect.
Owen Gray, I've got
Gray, Gray.
Yeah, we'll have to put porn because the musician keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Owen Gray. Oh, here we go. Then I'll save that for later.
Mm.
No, I do know who he is. I recognize him. He's submissive in a lot of porn.
Not in what I've seen.
No, but you obviously don't have the breadth of porn experience that I do, because I know he does a lot, and that puts me off because I'm the submissive one.
Well, you don't have the breadth of experience of porn that I do, because what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm not disputing his ability. Just for me, once I don't know, and I know that loads of people do switch between. I just, and Princess Donna, for example, she was renowned for being a dom, and now she does a lot of sub porn.
Yeah. I mean, I've not watched her stuff. All I can say is that Owen Gray looks like a fucking fantastic fuck. And in the comments, it's like mostly women being like, "Oh my god, I would sell my soul to be fucked by him."
Who comments on porn sites though? Like
Naomi. There she was typing away. Oh my god, I would sell my soul to be fucking him. Yeah. Somebody was in the comments. It was Naomi, every single one. All of her fake profiles.
Yeah.
Owen.
Notice me, Owen, please.
Make love to me.
Yeah,
He'll
but
probably be
honestly,
married, won't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. I don't know what she does. I don't think she does porn though. But he doesn't. He could get it.
So my favourite used to be James Dean.
Till the rape.
Till the rapey.
Till the rape.
And so he raped someone, did he?
Right. So what happened was, James Dean did a lot of kink porn, did a lot of rough sex, like BDSM type stuff. Which is fine. A lot of women like it.
Yeah.
But he developed somewhat of a reputation, undeserved probably, for being good at pleasing women, knowing what women wanted, good at making women come.
Not necessarily undeserved, because some women, even after it happened, still had said that they had good sex with him and they didn't have that experience.
But But the reason I say potentially undeserved is that I read an article about him all afterwards by a journalist who'd interviewed him before the whole thing broke out, and she was saying that almost that the way he answered the questions and responded to things didn't match the hype about him. So I don't know.
That's like, yeah.
But either way, I digress. He was excellent to watch, and because he's not like a big beefcake or like a Ron Jeremy. He's like just a slim, normal looking guy, I would have said. But just really, yeah. I don't really know. How would you describe it, Naomi? You've watched him.
I think it's similar to Owen Gray, and what I like about him in the sense that, again, he looks like a normal guy and was like the perfect amount of dominating whilst also making sure the woman's having a great time. Because often in porn where women's dominate, it's just like,
yeah,
take it. It's not necessarily about her pleasure as well. Whereas with both of those porn stars, it is about the woman's pleasure. They get pleasure from seeing her enjoy herself, and that's what you want to see. Well, that's what I like to see.
Yeah. So because I mean that's what BDSM is, isn't it? It's not really about hurting somebody or inflicting pain, or you just would. I mean, yes, pain, but it's pleasurable pain. You wouldn't want it if it was a negative experience. You wouldn't want to do it, and people do it, and people really enjoy it. I mean, that's a whole episode on its own, isn't it? But yeah. So what happened, Gory, was that after, I couldn't even remember somebody, like I liked him that much that somebody even bought me a birthday card with James Dean on with his penis hanging out. Anyway, his girlfriend, who was also a porn star, came out and basically said he just doesn't listen to safe words. He just ignores them in private. And then several, and then several other women came out as well and said stuff. And
Joanna Angel was one of them who I was on about before.
It's just, but I mean, who doesn't listen to safe words? I don't know. If you do that sort of extreme stuff every day, do you want to?
I mean, that's as soon as you don't listen to a safe word, that's rape, isn't it? It's just straight away.
Yeah,
it's no longer safe, is it?
Nope. And then it's no longer, as we say, pleasurable pain, is it? It just becomes pain and not, unwanted. So
not consensual anymore.
Who's that French? Isn't there a French one who's really good at getting that mix right?
His name is Manuel Ferrara.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Yes, excellent porn star. Great. Like gets the balance.
I think he does it even better than either of those two. He gets the exactly right balance between being rough and being like dominating, but also really passionate. There's lots of kissing, and lots of eye contact and intensity. Yeah, me like her.
Do you watch porn, Gory?
No.
Okay. No.
So anyway,
how come?
Why? Yeah, how come?
I don't know. I don't really like it, but I don't know. Maybe I've just never bothered finding
to expand
what I like. I don't know.
Do you feel like
I just get the bits I've seen before? I've just been like, ugh. But that's probably because it was the stuff that was not pleasing to a woman. So
yeah,
what
there's
sort
a
of
lot of horrible porn out there.
There is a lot of horrible porn. There's a lot of and it's weird stuff, isn't it? Why is it always stepmom fucks prolapse porn? Yeah, that's right.
What is that?
That's
no. Oh
yeah. If you fist
I don't even want to come across that on a website. I just don't want anything to do with it. No, I don't even want to see it in my peripheral. Fuck that.
Well, you see, I don't want to
know it exists.
It exists, Corey.
It exists.
No.
I'm sorry, it exists. Both holes. Anyway, but I unlike you, Corey, I like porn because it's filthy, and then there's the other side of it where I'm so intrigued by the weird stuff, the limits that people go to. People are so weird. As me included, we're all fucking weirdos. Well, apart from Gory, apparently, not like porn. No, thank you.
I've just got a very vivid imagination.
Do you?
Ooh,
you just create your own porn.
Okay, girl, I see.
Well, it doesn't include prolapses, so how vivid is it?
Yeah, I'm just sat there imagining prolapses.
To be fair, I do think wanks without porn are better. I feel like I I think I have a better orgasm, but it's just easier to get to if I'm watching porn.
Do you know what though? After I had Violet, I couldn't watch porn anymore for ages.
Oh, really?
A flip switched in my head and I was like, ugh, no.
Isn't that because your fanny was damaged for a while?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, it could be hormones, it could be anything. But yeah, afterwards I just didn't watch it for ages.
Well, I go through stages. Sometimes
so do I.
I'll watch loads of porn, a fucking teenage boy in his room, just getting nothing done, just wanking. And then I just won't watch it for months on end. So
yeah, same. I'm not. Yeah.
But this morning I had a good old wank. Put me in a great mood.
This morning I was a total wanker.
Delightful.
Well, it's
maybe we should all have a wank before we do this podcast.
Oh, it's a great way to start the day.
Sink ourselves. Just let's all have a wank just before.
Post wank glow.
Do you know what really kills me wanking? This fucking heat. This heat.
And can't you wank when you're up? Sweaty wank.
No.
Why not?
Sweaty wank.
Why not?
It stops me from, getting to the, hitting the jackpot. Well, because I found that sertraline when I started taking sertraline as well, that's an anti-anxiety medication, and it really made it really difficult to get to the point of, orgasm. It was almost like you could get to it, and then it was there was just it just couldn't get over the last little hurdle. It was really annoying.
I went a lot less on sertraline.
Are you off surgery now?
Yeah, only recently though. Only recently come off it.
I can't stop. I can't. If I try and just don't take it, I go really dizzy.
Do you?
I think I need to book a month off work to go off it. Because I've took it for so many years now.
Yeah. So I was reading about this because I felt dizzy at times as well, and apparently that's just your brain rebalancing the serotonin. So a lot of people who come off sertraline and SSRIs report that as well, that dizziness.
Yeah, like I think I'd need a month off work. Like it really, really affects me if I try. Because I can go down to the tiniest dose. But if I was on
50 milligrams.
Yeah.
The smallest dose.
But if I go down to, if I stop that, even I can have that every other day. But if I stop altogether, I just start getting like really dizzy and become an absolute neurotic nightmare. More than usual.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Because I wasn't feeling great, but I mean, I do have other stuff going on in life, to be fair. But I do think like it must just take a period of time for your brain to just rebalance itself without those chemicals that are constantly being put in. So I think that you just have to ride it out.
Oh yeah,
until you feel.
I'm just not prepared to do that yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what is so weird? I just thought of this. You know, like when you're just talking about your brain rebalancing, they once did a study where they like put somebody glasses on that flipped their vision so everything looked the wrong way round.
Okay.
And they just kept wearing them every day, and eventually the brain flipped their eye so that when they could see everything right again, and then when they took the glasses off, everything looked the wrong way round.
That is mad.
And then
because that's how your eyes see things anyway, isn't it? Upside down, and your brain flips it over.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, I remember
That's
thinking,
so interesting.
how creepy. Can you imagine if it hadn't gone back again? I mean, it did, but God, how frightening.
But also, like, how fucking amazing are our brains? Like,
amazing, yeah.
It's incredible. How interesting.
I just wish mine would stop being so reliant on fucking sweets and telling me to go buy sweets all the time. Go buy a sweet. You need some sweets.
I recently got into Biscoff. Just jars. You need like jars of Biscoff. Unbelievable.
So good.
Oh my God, so good. Just eat with a spoon. Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah.
My favourite thing.
Fuck me.
Biscoff, but I still prefer Nutella.
I think I prefer Biscoff now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
can't eat Nutella anymore, but I can eat Biscoff though. So
there you go, that's a win.
Biscoff.
There we go.
Box
Biscoff for the win.
Yeah.
Let's go for the win. I can't get this fucking...
Shall I tell you about my dream?
Oh yeah, your dreams.
Charlie had a sex dream about us, everybody.
Strap in, guys.
I had 2 dreams, and do you know
Strap
what?
in and strap on.
Hey.
I don't really. I'm not really a strap-on guy. Strap-on guy.
You don't want to peg anyone. You want to peg me.
I don't want to peg anyone. Why would I? I don't need to peg you, would I? What is it pegging?
You would.
Yeah.
It's a girl.
Yeah.
But I thought pegging was just up the bum hole.
Well, you can peg a girl up the bum.
Penetrating.
But why?
Or maybe it's just for men. I don't know.
Just for men. Is
Just
it?
for men.
Is pegging just when you just pop it? Is pegging? Because I could peg a guy.
Yeah.
But that would have to be the bum hole.
Yeah.
So I just thought pegging meant bum hole. So technically I could
Shall
peg.
I look up the meaning of pegging right now?
So I could peg
settle this once and for all.
I could peg your bum hole, but if I was going to get you with the strap on, I wouldn't necessarily go bum hole, would I? I might ease you in with a bit of fanny.
I might ease you in.
Yeah.
Good question, actually.
You want to go butthole to fanny, though? You want to
No.
go...
No.
Never.
No. Fanny then butthole.
I really want to get into it now. I wish that I enjoyed it.
Why don't you like it?
It's too painful, man. Every time I've tried it, even when I've used lots of lube and going gently.
What about having some weed?
I've tried that. Tried it drunk as well. I'm like, yeah, okay. Is it in? Yeah, it feels good. Yeah. Then it always gets to the point when I'm like, no, get it out immediately.
So
always.
Wikipedia says someone usually with a vagina performs anal sex on somebody else by penetrating their anus with a strap-on dildo. So the receiver can be any gender.
But it has to be the anus.
But it has to be the butthole.
The anus!
So,
yeah, it does say anus. So,
I was right. You guys.
She was right.
Charlie was right again. Don't ever question Charlie on her pegging knowledge.
I pegged someone.
Did you? I know somebody else who pegged someone as well. How'd you find it? How did you find it? The asshole. How did you find it? No, I mean, how did you find it?
Well,
how was your
searching? It's not something that I would choose to do myself. Or
I mean, how would it be pleasurable for you? Like, you're just ramming, aren't you?
You get. I suppose you're supposed to get the pleasure is from. It's from like the other person getting pleasure, isn't it? Watching them enjoy themselves.
and it's being dominant over the other person.
And it's being dominant. But I naturally in the bedroom am submissive, so I don't get that much pleasure from being dominant unless it's occasionally. But I mean, for me, it was just like, oh, this is an experience. And I liked that he was enjoying it. But
did he like it then?
Yeah.
He wasn't like, slow down. No, he was like, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah, he was really into it.
Okay.
Was he like straight or bi?
Yeah.
Straight.
I think a lot of men are really getting into that.
Yeah, but they should though as well, because men have the prostate of their bums and you can massage that and it feels really good. Once I had sex with a guy who, when we were having sex, he had a prostate massager up his bum and it just made the whole thing more pleasurable. Men should explore more with their bum holes. I think. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a world of pleasure up there.
What's your view on bum stuff, Corey?
I don't like poo.
Well, I don't like poo. That's that.
Oh, yeah.
I love just giving like short answers to things.
No one likes poo, Corey. It's not like people have anal because they love poo.
Bumholes are for pooing, aren't they? That's it. So,
there's always going to be particles there, guys. Little poo particles. So,
but also there's little tiny insects crawling all over our faces right now, and we just can't see it.
Yeah, but they're not poo insects. They're just insects.
Yeah, but aren't they pooing at us?
There's still probably poo particles everywhere.
That's why you shouldn't touch escalators. Ugh.
Yeah, because Naomi has probably been there right after pegging someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the concentration of poop up a butthole is probably larger than the concentration of poo on an escalator handle.
So formal about it. Yeah. Well, do you know? But I sent you both that link the other day, about a couple of weeks ago. Did you guys probably both ignore it and not watch it?
What was it?
Which one?
Shit! No, the porn star thing.
It was about porn stars talking about.
I don't know why I haven't watched that because I would really enjoy watching that.
You would, yeah. It's because you're an ignorant asshole.
Well, we didn't plan on talking about that. We're not talking about things we planned to talk about.
No, we are literally talking about nothing that we plan to talk about. We will do. We'll get to it after the anal and the pegging and the porn stars and then my dream.
Yeah, we haven't heard your fucking dream yet.
We'll get to it. Where was I?
Oh my god! You were about to tell us about the video.
Oh yeah. So I thought because I always think this as well. How come when you watch anal porn, there's never any. You never see any poo. There's no poo. But I was thinking, how do they get their assholes so clean?
Maybe it's because they douche.
Yeah, but I don't think that's foolproof.
No,
I mean I've douched before and there was no poo.
You are a douche.
I am. Yeah, a douche, but
that could be just
douched?
I just said because I mean, like it's not like you. I don't know. I just think that that's always going to be a risk, and I was like, surely it must happen. So I googled it and looked it up, and there was this video of porn stars talking about their experience with it, and they pretty much all were like, yeah, bad things have happened, and that's just the nature of the beast. As Corey points out, if you don't like poo and you can't take it, it's not for you. And nobody likes poo, but
yeah, that's like the thing, isn't it? No one likes it.
No, but it's
apart from people into scat porn.
Yeah, true.
Scat butt, boobly dad.
Imagine that.
It's not that kind of thing.
Oh, I would watch that
people
kind of porn.
Like,
that's the only kind of porn I would watch. What
did you once say to me, Gory? And it disgusted me. Me who likes, I like porn. I like sort of like, some kinky stuff and whatever. And then you once were like, told me about this jazz song or some sort of song, and you were like, it's this sort of thing. You could have a slow.
You said this to me before. It was Erykah Badu.
Was it? And you were like, it's the kind of music you could have a slow. What exactly did you say, Gory? I can't remember.
I don't know. This is your memory. Like, I've said a lot of things before.
100%.
Maybe I said that. I don't know.
It's the kind of thing you could have a slow. There was another word, but I forgot. A slow something fuck to, and I was like,
slow gentle fuck.
And I was like, who wants slow gentle?
Only because you don't like that kind of music. It's sexy music, but you don't like sexy music.
That's like, cringe. To have sex to sexy music is fucking cringe, mate.
See,
you're basically Gus.
Yeah.
Seal.
Yeah.
How does that song go again?
A kiss from a rose from blah, blah, blah.
I disagree. I think like sometimes the right music can emphasize the sex, so long as it's not, you know, like you put in Barry White and you're looking for something specifically sexy. There's just some music that does emphasize sex.
No Spotify ads in between tracks.
Call me perverse, but I like Spotify ad in between my seal, especially when I'm anally liberating an elderly woman with poor taste in handbags.
Did we record that episode where we were talking about that? Will people know what we're on about? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
I know. I believe that did go into an episode. Yes, the Gus story. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
Kissed by your
Tell us about your dream.
Do you think that's funny as well that it was anal sex and he was kissed by a rose? Because that's what they call it, Gory, a rosebud.
It doesn't even look like a rosebud. Why would they call it a rosebud?
It does when it's prolapsed.
I had a beautiful rose open up in my garden today. A red rose.
You
ruined it for me now.
Kissed by your rose, honestly.
I love roses. I have roses on my phone case.
You do?
And now you've ruined them for me.
That is what they call them, rosebuds.
No.
Rosebudding.
No.
Tell us about your dream.
Right. Let me try and remember it now then. So I had two. I think obviously it was in my head that we'd kept trying to do this podcast and it hadn't worked. And I don't know, but like, okay, so what the first one, I think I found that you two had recorded one without me.
You. I mean, it was suggested.
I mean, I'm recording us all separately now, so I could just not use Charlie's audio track.
Thank you, yeah. Except on the fucking glue that pulls the shit together.
She means that, boys and girls. She really is, not joking.
Anyway. So yeah, and in it, you two were like, this is as well. It wasn't just a dream that you guys were doing a podcast. I can't remember. I feel like Naomi was like just like lying all over Gory, and you were like,
what, we were doing the podcast in person with Naomi lying all over me?
Yeah, she was like lying all over you, and then like I think Gory might have got her nipple out, and I was like,
I knew it was a sex dream. You are obsessed with
but it was about us two.
Well, you were doing. No, I don't think it was like a sex. I think you were like, because it's my thing, isn't it? It's my thing to be like boobs, rude, funny, haha. And then you two were doing it, and you were doing it without me.
We took your thing. We took your boob thing.
What, boobs are your thing, are they? Boobs are your thing.
Well,
you claim boobs. Patent boobs, do you?
Right. Let me talk, Naomi. Absolute dickwad. No, it's just something that I do and find funny generally. And you guys, and obviously in my dream, conjured up that you guys recording a podcast without me and all over each other and getting Naomi's nipple out.
Call a spade, mate. It's a fucking sex dream about us. You're obsessed.
It was a sex dream.
You hadn't seen us for a while and you were fantasizing.
Yeah, voyeurism fantasy.
I couldn't have sex with you.
You're dreaming about it though, aren't you?
No, it was just you getting a nipple out to taunt me.
What?
We're doing it without you.
What was the second dream?
I think the second dream. I think that was me and you. I don't know. I feel like we were in London or something and we were trying to record it. And it just, do you know what? This one's really vague to me now. I've kind of forgotten it a bit, but it was definitely about the podcast again. And it was us trying to record it. And then I think you were like, I was like, you need to do this. And you just kept making these suggestions that didn't make any sense. And I was like, you need to do this. This is what you need to do this, and this. And it made perfect sense. And you were just ignoring me, Naomi. So at the end, I was like, do this or I'm going to fucking walk. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. And I think you were like, fine, fucking walk. And I was like, well, I don't want to walk. I just want you to make sense. So yeah, my poor little adult brain has been going around this. I
dear.
I hope you feel proud of yourselves.
I hope you can
It
find
has been
yourself.
stressful. It's been fucking
God.
stressful.
What is this, our third attempt?
Doing this episode. Yeah.
It's been weeks.
It's been
Yeah.
weeks.
It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Nice to be back, guys.
Nice to be back, guys. Whoop, whoop.
What am I
Have you
supposed to
missed
do?
us?
Start paying for therapy or something? You need to be more committed to this. Listening to me.
You need to have all your bloody parts.
Parts.
All your parts plugged in.
Look, all my parts were plugged in. So our technology person,
Correspondent.
our technology correspondent, Gortonatron, had not informed me that I needed, well, she didn't know herself. All right?
No, I didn't realise we needed another little cable to run.
Yes.
Good God.
I've been. Do you know what people do as well, Gory? They kiss the rosebuds.
Okay.
What do you mean when it like pops out a little bit?
Mm.
Do you know I don't like gaping?
Do you know?
I think it just looks horrid.
Right.
This massive pink hole, just like, it's just an arsehole that's been absolutely pummeled, just there, gaping. That doesn't do it for me.
That upsets
at
me far
all.
less than a rosebud coming out. I think that a rosebud
Less
is
than
like,
a rosebud?
a rosebud, it's like the asshole has had to gape enough that the inside can come out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Worse. And it's like it's weird to see how red the inside of an asshole is.
Yeah, but you can really see when it's a fucking gaping hole like that. Oh, horrid.
At least the hole is still a hole. And it's not escaped out into the world. I don't know. What do the listeners think? I'd like to hear what listeners think.
Put your
About what, gaping?
opinions on
Gaping.
gaping and rosebuds in the comments down
Anal
below,
sex.
guys.
Anal sex. What is it you wanted to ask us about, Tate, Gory?
Well, I just think it's an interesting conversation because
Do we need to explain who he is as well to people?
yeah, I
You
can
do that.
explain. I can basically explain to you everything that happened, and you can give your opinions on it.
Do it.
Because
Yeah,
I don't think you guys
I don't
know
who-
what
No.
you guys are so innocent and not terminally online. So
Banging on about gaping arseholes. I don't think we're that innocent, pal.
Yeah, we're online. We're just looking at different content.
What about pegging people? I'm not innocent, pal.
I've not pegged anyone.
he's right. This
I
guy's basically been who everybody on the internet's been talking about for like the last 2 weeks at least. He's like literally been trending #1 topic everywhere.
Yeah.
But basically, I'll explain to you what happened. So basically, like you saw it, right? You watched my Manosphere video. He was in that.
Yeah.
But when I made that Manosphere video, he wasn't very. It was before he blew up, like right after I put that video out. So
I hope he's giving you a shout out for that, Gory.
yeah, he owes me a lot. So
Why did he blow up?
well, basically because
Dynamite
he's I don't know if you remember, but I said that he was like basically a human trafficker in my video. And he had his house in Romania raided because he had women there who said that they were being held against their will.
Oh, is he Romanian?
He's not Romanian, but he moved there.
What is his accent?
Yeah.
I was trying to work it
So
out.
he was born in the UK, but I believe he spent a lot of time in America. So he has this weird
I've never heard
dual
anything like it.
accent. His brother's the same. It's fucked up.
It's so strange.
But anyway, it's like, yeah, every other word is like American English. It's, I don't know. But yeah. So
Yeah, so why did he blow
basically,
up? Oh yeah,
he's been online. He's been like a sort of like figure in the manosphere for ages. And he's gone around basically saying, he said on Twitter a while ago, women should bear responsibility for being raped, basically. And he got banned from Twitter for saying that. And he moved to Romania because he said that it's easier to get away with sexual assault there because you can pay off the police.
It's pretty fucking easy in this country, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even easier over there, apparently.
Right.
So he set up this webcam business in Romania where he says that all of the women who work for him are his girlfriends, and his job is to make them fall in love with him so that they work for him on this webcam business. And this business, they basically like sit there and talk to men all day, probably like, you know, get naked and do whatever the men ask them to and get donations. And he basically takes all of the money and, probably just feeds them and stuff like that. So, so basically that's human trafficking. He never called it human trafficking himself, but that's obviously human trafficking. And 2 women in his house called the police and said that they weren't able to leave, right? One of them was American and one of them was Romanian. They said they wanted to leave. And this story came out in the Romanian press. Andrew Tate said that the American girl was just trying to cover up the fact that because she had a boyfriend, she was trying to cover up the fact that she'd left her boyfriend to cheat on him with Andrew Tate. So he basically said she was lying about being kept captive. And the Romanian girl, there's a video of her mother in the Romanian press as well saying that this is not like her at all, just to disappear. And she was really worried about her and all of this stuff. But Andrew Tate says that the women are lying because women just lie. And
great defense.
Well, yeah, that's basically what he says. And as far as I think he's still under investigation, I'm not sure, but as far as I know, he's basically paid off the Romanian police, so they're not pursuing it anymore.
Gross.
Right? So after all of that, he blew up, like he exploded online because basically
after that.
Yes, because he set up a pyramid scheme, basically. So this pyramid scheme, if you join it, you learn how to take clips of Andrew Tate and put them on TikTok and on Facebook, on Instagram, Reels, wherever.
Wait, is this the Hustler University?
Yeah. So he's like, if you want to be a real top G like me, you have to join Hustlers University.
Top G.
Yeah, and then you get really rich and you get all the Bugattis and you get all the girls and all of that, right? But basically all it is a pyramid scheme to get other people under you to sign up to Hustlers University by posting clips of Andrew Tate online saying misogynistic shit. And it went so...
That's quite clever, isn't it? Because then he has to do a minimal amount of work because everyone else is posting his content.
Yeah, and it went so well because like he's a good speaker, like, and he's unfortunately like quite good at comedic timing as well. But he's saying really misogynistic shit. But because he was good at saying it and because he was quite funny doing it, all of the young boys who followed him like literally believed what he was saying about women. And he
be funny and charismatic and a fucking arsehole.
Yeah, exactly.
Exclusive.
Yeah. So basically,
look at you, Charlie.
I didn't realize you thought I was funny and charismatic.
So basically, the women in his Romanian sex dungeon thing, he calls them all his girlfriends. They all got tattoos of his name, like near their crotch. And he would just constantly brag online about how he used these women to make money and they belonged to him. Yeah, he says that's how he makes money through his webcam business mainly, but he probably launders money for the Romanian mafia through these various casinos that he owns. So, yeah, he's also said you can't be responsible for something that doesn't listen to you. You can't be responsible for a dog if it doesn't obey you, or a child if it doesn't obey you, or a woman that doesn't obey you. So basically he says that women should be treated like dogs or children. If a woman wants to see herself as equal to a man, then that's not the kind of woman that he would ever give the time of day to. And then there's also 3 separate videos of him beating the shit out of women online. Very violently. He says that it's all consensual BDSM. There is proof of one of them being BDSM because there's another clip where she's like, come on, give me more, blah, blah, blah. Is that all you can do? But the other 2, I don't think they're consensual. They don't look consensual and they look horrible and violent and disgusting. He's also said things like men are allowed to cheat with whoever they want, but women should never cheat because women cheat emotionally, whereas men only cheat for sex.
That's a fresh and fit thing, isn't it?
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah.
Get information from?
He says you should never let your woman, ever go out on her own because another man might take her. He says women should belong to men. He says women can't drive. He refuses to get on a plane if there's a female pilot. He says female promiscuity is disgusting and should be frowned upon. So basically, what's happened recently? These are like what all the clips of him online are saying that are going viral.
So really quickly though, where was he raised? So he was born in England.
So he says he was raised on a council estate in Luton, like with no money. That's the story he gives because that's what all of these hustler guys give. Oh, I started out with nothing. I'm not sure how true that story is because his father was a chess champion. Yeah. So, and I read in that Romanian press release about the raid that he inherited a hotel in Thailand from him. And there's also a rumor that hotel in Thailand had a sex trafficking background. But anyway,
what's his heritage?
None of that is like true. That's just rumor. But I'm not sure I believe the origin story that he tells that he worked his own way up with a webcam business. I don't think that that's true.
What's his heritage?
He is British.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he spent a lot of time growing up in America, I believe, because of his dad's job, possibly. Because he went everywhere playing chess. So anyway, so all of these clips like went massively viral online. There were like little boys in school that were like 14-year-old coming out with like misogynistic shit at school. Like there was TikToks of like teachers saying, my little boys absolutely love Andrew Tate and they keep on telling the girls in the class that they should be in the kitchen and that they take men's money and they shouldn't be getting an education and stuff like that, right? So he fucking blew up and all these little boys were like joining his little pyramid scheme and watching all of his videos and all of that. So basically there was this whole no social media platform was banning him, even though he was going massively viral and really affecting young boys with all of the stuff that he was saying. So there was basically an online campaign against him. But like basically the online community had to be like, please, this guy is so damaging. We need to get him off social media. And eventually it worked. Like, I don't think they were going to do anything, but eventually it worked. And first of all, Facebook and Instagram banned him. And then a couple of days ago, TikTok banned him. And then I think like yesterday, YouTube also banned him. So he's basically been banned off all large social media platforms now. So I would say that's great. But there's been like this conversation going around online that it's not a good thing to deplatform people, that if you don't agree with them, and what you should do instead is debate them, which is ridiculous.
It's a nice ideal, but it's not. I don't think it's real world. I don't think it's realistic.
Exactly.
Also,
so like I did a tweet about this basically, which so I said, it's funny how as soon as women are the affected group, being banned from a platform for violating hate speech policies is suddenly not acceptable. Saying women are men's property, should be treated like dogs and controlled with violence, because that's another thing he said, should have been met with debate. Sure, bro, that was basically my take on the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think, like, number one, the whole debate thing, people like that, even if what you're saying makes sense to them, they won't admit it. They're not here to listen to other opinions. They're not here to have their opinions changed at all. That's not his motivation. Like, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It'd be like trying to have a discussion with somebody in the comments of the Daily Mail. It just would. There's no point.
Exactly. And also, it is hate speech.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that's my point.
Being abusive to women, then that's hate speech. If someone was online being like, fuck Muslims are terrible, they're all terrorists, they'd get taken down. You can't say stuff like that online. This is exactly the same.
It's not even hate speech. Like, there's a difference between banning somebody from saying something and banning somebody from using certain platforms. And a lot of those platforms are very strict on other stuff, like nudity, banning the nipple. Like, what you mean? You can't have the nipple, but you can have somebody saying beat up women and women are property and whatever. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and also, like, fine. Like, I believe in freedom of speech. Say what you want, but you can't tell me that people have to give you a platform. You can say
No.
what the fuck you want, put it on your website and people will find you, but you cannot say that YouTube have to show your videos. No. Say what you want elsewhere. You don't have to be given a platform by anyone.
No.
Oh, he did shut down his pyramid scheme as well, but there is rumor that he's starting up another pyramid scheme to replace it.
Yeah.
So it looks like that might be what he ends up doing. But we'll see. But I think, like, there are a lot of people also saying that deplatforming only makes someone's message stronger, which I don't believe.
I don't agree with that
either.
at all.
Absolutely
That's just not true. 'Cause
He's definitely been dampened by that.
Of course,
for
I'm
sure.
not seeing the message as much.
Yeah. You can't get your message. You have to actively seek him out rather than, no.
I think he's hopefully going to fade away now, but like, yeah.
Well, do you know what I do find interesting though? I kind of don't see the point in taking away his, like, deplatforming him, because the manosphere it's a beast. It's a whole thing. There are so many men online who speak like him. I guess what doesn't make sense to me is that they've deplatformed him and not, say, Fresh and Fit or any of the people that you talked about in your video. There are lots of them.
It's like, where do you draw the line? Because there was a lot of overlap between, I'd say Andrew Tate was like really far, but like,
an
a lot of them are,
extremist.
though.
Yeah.
They're all hateful. They all hate women.
Oh yeah, it's all hateful, but it does sound like that from what you've described, Gory, because I've not watched anything of his, but it does sound more extreme than anything we listened to on Fresh and Fit, especially particularly in mind the fact you spent so long researching them. You'd be best placed to draw that differential. But on the Fresh and Fit, they did say, in some cultures they don't, they just cut the women's clit off. But that's revolting, obviously. But then maybe it's one step further to be like actively posting videos of beating women up and stuff.
He didn't post them, but they were leaked, the beating up videos.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's a difficult one because it's where do you draw the line with censorship? But the reality is we live in a time when platforms can get rid of. I know that like there's loads of comedians that I like Chelsea Lynn, who's Trey the Trash Tammy, gets banned off Instagram all the time, and Paige, who she does it with, was banned off Instagram for posting the same. She basically did exactly the same selfie as a Kardashian, which was like nude but covered up, and she got banned for it, whereas the Kardashians didn't. So I don't know. It's a difficult one.
Can you see like a nipple?
I don't think so. But
I thought you could only get banned for nipple.
There's definitely because the platforms. If the platforms just don't like you or whatever, then there's nothing because she's been talking about it on her podcast, and basically there's nothing she can do. They draw that line. And and that line is going to be drawn by what's socially acceptable. He's not being told he can't say those things. He's just the people who own the platforms are saying nah. And I think
which I agree with.
There are a lot of people doing a lot less and being banned. So I absolutely would back it. And it's disgusting. It's hate speech, and there is a caveat in the law for freedom of speech, isn't there? And that is hate speech, and it is. So,
it's like basically saying if you're a woman, you should have to spend your time online arguing that you're a person. Yeah, it's like fuck off. Like why? Yeah. Like why should a private company like basically have like treat half of their customers like that? It's like it doesn't make any sense for the private company. It's just hate speech, and that's the policy.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's like people won't see it as hate speech. Like it's just these are just his
telling
opinions.
the truth.
But no, it is hate speech.
Goes against the narrative, so that's why they want to silence him, because he goes against the narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no cure for stupid, is there? There's people who just don't want any nuance or thought, or just
Also, people hate women.
Do you know, it just made me laugh though. Do you know, Violet and her friend were in like a big soft play centre the other day, and she was like, these boys, they're coming up to us and they were going, losers to us. And we were like, that's not very nice. So me and my friend, we wrestled him to the floor. It's like, cool. Like I might be a bad mum, but when she says to me like somebody did this or somebody did that, and I'm like, okay, did you speak to the teacher? And what did the teacher do? If she's like nothing, I'm like, well, you know what, Violet, just gonna have to fucking hit him back. And she's like, no, mummy, I can't do that. And I'm like, well, you're gonna have to. Life isn't fair sometimes, and this is your only chance, Violet, where you can do it and not get in trouble. So you might as well crack on. Don't start it. Don't start it. Be reasonable. If somebody does something to you and the system isn't protecting you, you fucking get them.
Yeah. I actually do agree with that. As advice for children. And maybe that is controversial, but I think like if a kid hits you and you're not doing anything wrong, then that's a bully, and bullies need to be taught. Yeah. I think. And also, I think if you let someone repeatedly hurt you as a kid, like bully you,
they'll just keep doing it.
They'll just carry on doing it. So you have to let them know. I think that's fair.
I mean, if the people who are supposed to be doing something about it aren't doing something about it.
Exactly, yeah.
And when she's like, somebody said this mean thing to me, or somebody said that this wasn't funny, I'd be like, well, tell them that they don't know what they're talking about and they're not funny.
Yeah.
Tell them they haven't got a clue. They don't know what funny is. They're probably raised in a house. Yeah. Well, their parents probably aren't funny. Tell them that. Because I can remember once. Remember when we got Bob, the kitten? And he had like such a furry little face, but it was like bald around his mouth. I mean, Violet would like be like, he's got a little bald mouth. He's got a little bald mouth. He's got a little bald mouth. And then she said, she's like, I sang Little Bald Mouth at school, and the girl said it wasn't funny. And I was like, well, she don't fucking know, son, does she? Because that is hilarious. How Little Bald Mouth isn't funny. Get out of it.
She should have bought a picture. Know.
Yeah.
She's
little mouth. Yeah. Idiots.
No, it's hilarious. Yeah. I remember that. It is objectively hilarious, that song.
Exactly. So fuck off.
Yeah.
I think you need to see Bob's Little Bald Mouth to fully appreciate it then. The girl she didn't have the visual to accompany the song. That was the problem.
Yeah, maybe.
Who does she think she is telling Violet it's not funny?
I know.
Who made you the boss of humour?
What a cow.
Yeah. Do you know, as well, what it just made me think of was I accidentally, now since we were talking about porn, stumbled across this porn video. You know, like suggestions just come up. And it was like...
I've got notifications on for like Pornhub.
What do you mean suggestions just come up? You mean on Pornhub?
No, but if you're watching something, it puts like other videos up. You might be interested in this. And honestly, I was horrified.
What the fuck were you watching for you to get horrific?
Well, just sort of like, like we were talking about, someone who's a bit rough, but it's all part of like, role play and whatever. But this was, I mean, I guess this was still consensual, but it was really, really violent and abusive. And it made me really, really uncomfortable. So he basically there was no...
Did you watch it all?
I watched it out of sort of like crippled by my inability to look away from a car crash type thing. It's a bit like, I
can't watch porn like that.
Like I was trying to work out like the people watching it. I mean, because then like, there'll be people who everybody's got a different level of whatever. And obviously these women have consented to be a part of the video. So who knows for what reason, like what they're paid. I doubt it's that they enjoy it, but then maybe some people do enjoy it.
But then also I've seen porn stars or ex-porn stars speak before about going into a shoot and thinking this is what they'd be going in and doing, and then that video actually being a lot more violent or them being more men involved than what they expected. So
yeah, especially like with women, I hear about like female porn stars, like they're not allowed to say you have to do this or you lose your job, but they can say things like, if you don't do this then you won't get work for like 6 months and stuff like that. So that's what they do to try and like force them into doing like stuff they're not comfortable with.
Well, there's a big documentary about it, wasn't there, recently? I'm trying to remember what it was on, but it was about, I think it must have been on Netflix or one of them anyway, but it was about this. It was about people, the fact that there's a big shift now because a lot of people like OnlyFans, whatever, they're their own boss, they're doing their own content and producing their own content, so it's taking the power away from these it was Louis Theroux. It's a Louis Theroux one, because I can remember Louis went and confronted one of the guys in America who was renowned for it, but this one I watched was worse.
Renowned for what? Sorry.
Got themselves a name in the industry for getting them into it get basically like be like, come and do a scene, and then during the scene being like, why don't we do anal?
Basically being a manipulative asshole.
Yeah. And then they'd be like, well, it's up to them if they want to, they can say no, but you can't really say no, or like it's very difficult to. And so that sort of disgusting power imbalance. So yeah, that has recently been a Louis Theroux documentary. It's probably worth watching. There was also really like a really powerful documentary on Netflix a while back called Hot Girls Wanted.
I never watched that.
Oh God, it was so good. And it was about like watching the stories of girls who went from like more rural parts of America to go and try and do porn and their experience of it. And I was quite haunted by that by the end. Yeah. Really? But then I also think there are women who do porn who are really empowered by it and absolutely love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's why I think OnlyFans has just been really good though, because you just don't have to do whatever the fuck you don't want to anymore.
Yeah,
completely rely on yourself.
Well, you don't need somebody else to put for the platform. You've got your own platform. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and I know, and there was the thing about Ron Jeremy, because he had this massive career, didn't he? And then it all came out afterwards that he'd been just disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're shooting porn every day. Why you got to push limits?
Yeah.
It's not like you're not getting any, is it?
Yeah. It must maybe it's like I don't know, it's like a psychological thing that happens to some of these
power.
men where they're like used to just having women do what they want all the time, and they take that outside of porn videos and think, oh, that's just how it works.
Yeah, or it's probably a power thing. I just don't know. But yeah. No, but this one, so basically what he would do was he would just slap them really, really hard.
Across the
face, tits, ass, everywhere. Like really hard. And like, I know that like aggressive blowjobs and like throat fucking has become like a genre of porn, but like it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Like it was so horrible and relentless and aggressive and so long. And then he would like put his arm around their throat and choke them out to the point where you could actually see them. Like, and I was like, oh, this is. And then I'm like, am I being judgy? Because I'm sure there's people who would, wherever I am on the continuum, who'd be like, Gory, for example, who's probably the complete opposite and might be like,
oh yeah, I'd absolutely see that and be like, I don't know how anybody could consent to that. Like,
well, yeah, I don't. But then I think, am I being judgy? Because you could look at something that maybe me or Naomi would watch and be like, I don't know how you could like that. And I'll be honest with you, I think the more porn you watch, the more extreme sometimes
absolutely.
You can get. And sometimes you can be like post-orgasm, like, what the hell did I just watch? Shame. I'm going to watch it again. No.
Yeah.
But that was other level.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you are right. People have a different
but yeah, maybe there are some women who really do like that.
But maybe I would bet money that most of the people watching videos like that are not women who are like, oh yeah, that's really hot. Some will be, but I think most will be men living out aggressive fantasies.
Yeah, I would say so. And like in the comments, it's like you said, Naomi. In that video you were watching, there's comments where women are like, oh, I wish I could switch and be in that place. I didn't see any like that on this video. So I think whatever continuum it is on, because I do think like a lot of women, not all, but a lot of women like to be a bit submissive in the bedroom. But this was just, to me, it was just abuse.
Violent. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was horrified by it.
I can't watch stuff like that.
I can't remember what his name was. But like sometimes he would blur his face out just because apparently it was so abusive that some of the women's families would like, try and get retribution, even if like the women had consented to it. I don't know.
When I saw that video of Andrew Tate beating up that woman, like this is one of the ones where I'm quite sure it was not BDSM. Like that fucking stuck in my mind for a long time. It's really disturbing.
I think because of like what I do for a living and like, having seen a lot and whatever, it takes a lot to shock me. I'm not easily shocked, but watching that video, I was like, oh, that I feel uneasy watching it. Like it made me feel queasy.
Yeah. If I start a video and it's like that, then I switch it off almost immediately. It's just horrible, and also like kills my boner as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, why would I watch abuse? It's just
Yeah.
horrible. Why is this on Pornhub?
But
Like,
yeah, but then,
why aren't things filtered out more? Like, ugh.
but then like everything, the other thing that's weird on porn is why is it always like stepmom fucks or I fucked my stepsister or I fucked my
Yeah, incest is like the isn't that the number one fucking thing right now? Like,
yeah, but I get the step thing. It's taboo. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't. Sometimes I can sometimes I think there's a perfectly good video and then they ruin it by being like my stepson and I'm like, oh, that would have been a good scene if you could have just been fucking normal. This is two people having good normal sex.
See, I think that can be hot. What isn't is when it's like if it's like supposed to be like actual family members, like mum fucks son, like oh gross.
Do they do actual incest ones as well? I guess it's fake incest, but still, that's horrible.
That's horrid. That's horrid.
But it's
the step thing. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
it's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Yeah. There is a new documentary on Netflix actually that I'm going to watch that came up on my recommendations. Something to do with like the products of incestuous relationships and stuff and the pitfalls of them. And I mean,
the pitfalls of incest.
I imagine there's many.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch that definitely. I was like, that's right up my street. I'll get that on. I'll get that on this weekend.
They need a whole documentary to tell you why incest is bad.
I just need one picture of a child with extremely big hands.
Have you ever watched there was a series of videos on YouTube called The White Underbelly?
Yeah, I've seen those.
I've got one of those though.
It's like this guy who interviews people from like quite extreme, like vulnerable situations, like a lot of prostitutes, people addicted to different drugs. There's one where he interviews these three brothers, I think, who are all the product of incest, and it's just horrific. It's just horrific, and it impact like because they're just like I don't know. They're very disabled because of their like simple minded. And I think in another video he goes to their house as well, and it's like the whole family there, and you know that this is just a house of horrors. It's just it's awful.
Yeah.
Dark.
God.
Dark.
Hey, speaking of amazing things I've watched recently, I don't know if you saw Naomi. I think me and Gory discussed it a bit on the group. Prima Facie.
With
Jodie Comer. Amazing.
What is it about?
So it's about her. She's a young barrister. Hot stuff. Starts off and she's she is fucking brilliant.
Love our Jodie. Yeah, she's great.
Fucking brilliant. She's fucking brilliant. And God, I don't actually. It's like just her in this, but obviously she talks about the other people so well that they seem real. But yeah, I don't actually fucking caught her breath. It's like the whole thing is just her talking the whole time and acting it. But yeah, so she's a hotshot upcoming barrister. And she starts off talking about like cross-examination and she's doing it and how brilliant she's doing it and like no one sits, she's asking these questions and the guy in the dock is like, you know, thinks that she's this little young woman, doesn't know what she's doing, and then bang, she's got him in a corner. And yeah, she's talking about cross-examination, how well she's doing it. And she talks about how she cross-examines women who have alleged that they're victims of sexual assault and rape, and her experience of cross-examining those people, and that it's just a job and trusting the system and blah blah blah. And then she has her own experience, and the tables are turned, and she becomes the person being cross-examined.
Oh, interesting.
And it's just a very, very powerful look at the reality of what it is to be a victim of rape or sexual assault. How, like I've said to you before, even making it into court, you know, the CPS have got to agree that there's enough evidence on the table.
CPS,
Crown Prosecution Service.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it just, you know, it really, really detailed, and she acted phenomenally, essentially, the process that a victim would go through, the thought process, the fact as well that she did it for a living, so she knew the odds were stacked against her. She knew how this was going to play out. The experience of being in court, and just, you know, the sort of things that she was cross-examined on. Well, she acted out being cross-examined. It was brilliant. But the reality is, and I know I've said this before, the criminal law is you have to prove something beyond all reasonable doubt. Well, if you have had sex with somebody, all they have to do is say it was consensual. How are you going to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that it wasn't?
You can't.
I know that they're I think I've said before, they're trying different things, like proving that the person was so intoxicated that wasn't possible, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, whatever the prosecution brings to the table, the barrister for the defense is going to refute. And somebody very clever is going to bring to the table arguments against that. So even getting to the court, even getting to that part, and there was some of that was covered off by in this because it was actually a theatre play, but this was a video recording of it being played in a local cinema. So I definitely recommend people see that, because it was so brilliantly acted and so powerful and so good that this is finally receiving some attention. Because this as well is why I'm so hacked off with the Heard v. Depp v. Heard, whatever, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing. Because I've said before, the criminal law is so stacked against victims that to then add to that, so the Me Too movement, a lot of it was just about trying to redress that power balance by speaking out. And through that case, it just shows if you've got enough money, enough power, enough of a fan base, then you can shop around in different legal jurisdictions and you can silence somebody.
So my partner was called to do jury service a few months ago. I wish I could remember everything that was said, but this was a sexual assault case. And it was a bunch of women who'd gone on a night out, and they'd been drinking, they met some guys. I think one of the women owned a pub, and they were in a pub, and one guy stayed behind, I think, and the others left. Anyway, he stays behind. These two girls are in bed. And then he leaves where he's sleeping downstairs and gets into bed with the girls. And then she felt him, I think, like poking her, or like his penis or fingers or something. And I think she got up and like ran out of the room. I can't remember all the details, which is really annoying. But he did get charged for the for assault, which is fantastic. My partner, I don't want to say his name, but my partner was saying there were different charges there, and there was one that he wasn't charged for. So there were different, like,
convicted. Presumably he'd been charged with all of them, but he wasn't convicted.
Yeah, of one of them. And it was something to do with, like, it was something to do with anal rape, or like intent to rape her anally. And that, I think, so let's call him T, my partner.
Yeah.
So T was saying that he was the only one in the jury who wanted to also convict him of that final thing as well, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But when he was telling me about it, to me it seemed clear that the guy had done this thing. But like you say, it's the beyond reasonable doubt reasonable doubt thing.
Very, very high threshold to hit. And if you've already, let's say you slept with that person previously and had consensual sex with them, do you know what I mean? It's just so easy to because because I can remember, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I can remember being at the table with my mum and her husband and them being like, oh, we watched this documentary the other day. It was awful. There's this man and he was wrongly, a woman made false allegations about him and he was wrongly convicted and it was, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, that is awful. But let's flip it, shall we? If we just zoom out a little bit, look at where the protection is, really.
Yeah.
Where is your horror and where is your anger for all of the victims who have been raped and nothing has been done about it and they've been called liars and they've been cross-examined about their sexual history? Where is your anger about that? Because we have this legal threshold that essentially says we're going to protect people from being wrongly convicted and we're going to do so at the expense of lots and lots of victims, statistically the majority of which are going to be women, being raped and there being absolutely no recourse.
Those cases where, you know, like the man's supposedly been falsely accused, they always go massively viral in the manosphere because they're like, look at this one, look at this one, look at how much women lie about being, but there's no like statistical evidence to back up that women constantly lie about being assaulted.
So rare.
I think it is rare.
I used to volunteer with victim support, and I do remember them mentioning that there were statistics and that it did happen, but that it was a very small amount
compared to the amount of women getting assaulted, but then being called liars,
and then there being
minuscule.
Yeah. And that was the one, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but that was one of the things we did when you sign up as a volunteer with them. You do this thought experiment, and you've got this pad of paper where you've got pros and cons. And if you have been raped or sexually assaulted, you have to think through what you would do. And the pros of reporting it versus the cons of reporting it. And the pros were like tiny and the cons were just massive. Massive. I mean, not least for that fact that the judiciary is absolutely in pieces, and you know, one of the things you're gonna have to do is wait for 2 years to have your case heard because you're gonna have to relive it. Not COVID.
Not COVID made things worse, though, didn't it?
COVID has made the courts worse, but it was already in absolute dire straits.
Right.
It's I mean, I see this in the family court. It is in dire straits, and everybody's always like, "Oh, our NHS, blah 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 blah," but our judiciary. I mean, our public sector is being shrunk to a pinhead by this government in every which direction. But I see it in the judiciary, and it's fucking appalling. If you are a parent in a private family law children matter, it is appalling. I'm ashamed from what I see, and it is not justice. There are just no fucking judges, or you get there and it's been flipped to a different judge last minute. They've not read the papers. It's been do you know what I mean? It's just it's a mess. You apply for a hearing. It used to be that if it was an urgent hearing, you should hear it within a few days. Now it could be. It's a mess.
Is that because money's been taken out of that sector?
Money's been taken out of it. There's been cuts. There's just not enough money going in. No, this is care proceedings. I still think the care proceedings where it's like the state looking to remove children or put orders in place whereby they get parental responsibility for the children because there's safeguarding concerns. I still think they're funded to a point where the system works. But when it's parents v parents, I think it's absolutely dire.
Gosh, wow.
It's broken. And it's just...
Are there not enough people going into those roles as well?
I just think that there's not funded enough. There's not enough judges. There's far too many cases being heard by legal advisors and magistrates. So you've got a panel of 3 magistrates, justices, who were not legally trained. They're just old people that volunteer. Whose training is several weeks. And then in some of those cases, you've got a legal advisor sat with them who's a trainee solicitor themselves. Do you know what I mean? And these people, and some of these issues are complex issues.
That's like the voluntary work that I do. So I volunteer as a panel member for when young people have committed a crime, but it's not necessarily a crime that will send them to a juvenile prison. Instead, what happens is they get what's it called now? Like an order in which they have to serve. They have to do reparations over a period of time.
Yeah.
If there has been a victim involved, then, you know, ideally we'd like them to speak to the victim, but most of the time the victim doesn't want to speak to them. Anyway, so like it's the same. So this panel, so you'll meet the young person and there'll be a panel of 2 volunteers and then 2 people who work for the council, 2 paid people who work for the council. And honestly, one of the cases that I got recently, I just thought, I'm not, even though I had lots of training, because like I think like my job is not essentially to like judge them. It's supposed to be restorative justice. So our job is to listen to them, hear their side of the story, no judgment, and so on and so forth. And we have loads of training, and it seems really thorough, but nothing can prepare you for when you actually have the people sat in front of you and you hear their cases, no matter how much training you have. So I had one case, well, it can prepare you for how to speak to them, but like, anyway, the last case that I had was a young person, and it was a sexual assault case, and it was quite complex. I don't know how much I can say about it on here, to be fair, but it was basically, what I'm trying to say is it was a sexual assault case, and I didn't feel prepared for it. I didn't know that I knew how to deal with this case. So like you say, if it's in an actual court and you have people like myself who are volunteers actually deciding someone's fate.
They do get training, but it is like we
had loads of training, but still this case I was like, oof.
It's justices, they're not legally trained, and some of them are brilliant, but some of them really, really aren't. Really aren't, and that is awful. And then if you've got a legal advisor who isn't, do you know what I mean? And there's allocation guidelines that are supposed to pick. So when they allocate a case, the most serious ones should be allocated to the judges. But I think sometimes with things like domestic abuse, to be honest, even the judges sometimes just don't have a fucking clue or don't get it. The high courts and the appeal courts are sending out the right messages about what domestic abuse looks like, and how it should be dealt with. You know, the fact that it's not just physical violence, it's coercion and control. And what better way to control somebody other than by repeatedly dragging them through the court system over and over and
like
over
Johnny
again,
Depp,
reliving those issues. Especially when the perpetrator can afford
best legal team.
Well, you know, it's very expensive, so a lot of people just can't afford it at all. So yeah,
and then they had to go at Amber Heard for not donating all of her money when she said she would, but she got sued and she had to spend her money that she was going to donate on her legal team. And they were like, well, you didn't donate your money, therefore you said... Yeah,
but who gives a fuck? I mean, she might be somebody who said they'd donate money and they didn't. She might be a terrible human being. Give a fuck. Not all victims are perfect victims. That's the point.
Yeah,
you can't just generalize the whole thing just because they're not a perfect victim.
People love a goodie and a baddie, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, because it's easy.
But I don't think he's. I mean, like I say, I've not watched the whole of it. I've only watched bits and pieces, but I've sat down and watched bits with somebody who's sat there and been like, yeah. And I've been like, the fuck? Nothing so far has made me think anything whatsoever. Nothing here is concrete that I would rely on. And he was like kind of convinced by it.
People literally go by the way that Amber Heard like acts though.
Yeah.
Because she's obviously like, well, I don't know, you could say she's putting on a performance on the stand. And like, I think people like look at the way she acts and goes, oh, she looks like she's lying. And like, I think people get a feeling from it. I honestly think that's what most people go off. And because Johnny looks like quite like relaxed, like he just sits there with, like, with his head down.
Smarmy.
Yeah. And he would sometimes laugh at what she said about her abuse. Like he'd sit there like, like,
It was. I thought his behaviour was like reprehensible to sit there in such serious proceedings and be laughing with his barrister and like have some. Even if he was the wronged one, be fucking have.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be. And why did nobody put him right on that? He's supposed to be in a professional in a court.
Yep. Yeah, the judge should have been like
that. Should have
but
been.
He's Johnny Depp, isn't he? Like,
yeah,
definitely. That's fine.
So definitely go and see Prima Facie. Amazing.
Oh my god, guys! At some point we should do an episode on therapy since it's something that we've all been through. I didn't know you were going through it, Corey.
Yeah, I started recently.
Oh, great! Oh, would you like to do that at some point?
Yeah, could do.
Would you, Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we cover off the topics that we've already said we're going to cover off?
Yeah. Okay. So
which
shall we do? So
read about because I spent a long time reading them.
And it's all about me. But yeah, I actually do really want to talk about Backspace. So let's do that tomorrow then.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got enough episode now.
Oh, I'm glad we finally fucking got one through, guys. Fuck
I hope it's not too racy.
Oh.
Kissing the rosebud.
I've been kissed by a rose.
Okay, I'm going to go before my battery dies.
You can think about that every time you look at your rose now. Go on.
Oh, thank you so much.
Gorgeous. Well, it was lovely to see you, ladies. Nice to talk.
Lovely.
I'll
It's
see you
lovely
again
chat.
tomorrow.
I loved it. I loved the prolapse chat. I loved it all.
The rosebud, the prolapse, the pegging, the gaping.
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
Memories, eh?
Memories.
They'll last a lifetime.
I know.
Right. We're talking
long after that gape's closed up.
next episode. Euthanasia. Woo!
See you tomorrow, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.